Good morning, fifth grader. Today's packet is Monday, May the 4th be with you. Mathematics. Learning target. I can convert between fluid ounces, cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. What is the U.S. customary system? The customary system of measurement, also called the U.S. customary system, is based on the English system of measurement. In math, the customary system can be defined as a set of weights and measures used for measuring length, weight, capacity, and temperature. The customary unit of 1 fluid ounce is the customary equivalent of 2 tablespoons. 1 cup is equivalent to 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint is 2 cups. 1 quart is 2 pints. 1 gallon is 4 quarts. The gallon kingdom. A good way to remember this and the relationships between the units of measurement is the gallon kingdom. Let this story teach you the rules. There was once a kingdom of Gallon. The kingdom was ruled by 4 queens, or courts. Each queen, or court, had 2 princesses, or pints, and each princess, pint, had 2 cats, cups. Finally, each cat, or cups, needed 8 ounces of milk each day. So you have your gallon, your 4 queens. Each queen has 2 pints, and each pint has 2 cats, or cups. And a cup is 8 ounces. Okay, so now let's practice. Complete the following. Pint is less than, equal to, or greater than cup. Complete the following. A quart, is it less than, equal to, or greater than a gallon? 2 cups, is it less than, equal to, or greater than a pint? And is a half gallon less than, equal to, or greater than 3 quarts? While baking cupcakes, Edie used 2 12-ounce cans of frosting. How many cups of frosting did Edie use? 1/2 of a cup, 1.5 cups, 2 cups, or 3 cups? Question 1. How many cups are in a pint of water? A, 1/8 a cup, B, 1/2 a cup, C, 2 cups, or D, 4 cups? Number 2. How many fluid ounces are in 3 cups of milk? A, 8 fluid ounces, B, 12 fluid ounces, C, 16 fluid ounces, or D, 24 fluid ounces? Number 3. How many pints are in 1 fluid ounces of mouthwash? A, 1/8 a pint, B, 1/16 a pint, C, 8 pints, or D, 16 pints? And number 4. While baking cupcakes, Taylor used 4 6-ounce cans of frosting. How many cups of frosting did Taylor use? Remember, 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. A, 1/2 a cup, B, 1.5 cups, C, 2 cups, or D, 3 cups? Reading learning target. I can determine 2 or more main ideas of information text. Main idea, what the text is mostly about. Key details, sentences that tell more about, describe, or explain the main idea. How do I find the main idea? What is the text mostly about? What is the title? Are there pictures? What are they? Are there any words that are separated? Look at the first and last sentence. These sentences sometimes state the main idea. Read the following story based on the song Have Compassion. Then review the completed diagram with the subject, main idea, and the 3 details from the story. Have compassion. Sometimes I see something happen that makes me uncomfortable, like when a kid is getting picked on. The other day, I was riding the bus to school as usual when I noticed some other kids making fun of Zach. Zach is quiet and maybe a little weaker than other people, and kids on the bus were calling him bad names. I knew it was wrong, and at first I tried to ignore it, but then a little voice inside, maybe it was my conscience, told me I had to take action. I decided I had to stand up for Zach. I told the bullies that Zach was my friend and asked them not to be mean to him again. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I could see in Zach's eyes how grateful he was. I realized that you've got to have compassion. You have to take action if you see someone suffering. Do what you can to help take away their pain. So the subject is compassion. The main idea is if you see someone suffering and you can stop it, take action. One of the details was that some kids make fun of Zach because he is quiet and not as strong as they are. Kids were calling Zach bad names. Another detail is that a little voice told the narrator that he should take action. The narrator tells the bullies that Zach is his friend and asks them not to be mean to him again. Detail: Zach was grateful. Look in his eyes when the narrator stands up for him. All right, determine two main ideas. Valentine's Day. Expressing one's love to another is a celebrated custom on Valentine's Day, whereby sweethearts and family members present gifts to one another, such as cards, candy, flowers, and other symbols of affection. Opinions differ as to who was the original Valentine, but the most popular theory is that he was a clergyman who was executed for secretly marrying couples in ancient Rome. In AD 496, Pope Gelasius I declared February 14th as Valentine's Day. Esther Howland, a native of Massachusetts, is given credit for selling the first mass-produced Valentine cards in the 1840s. The spirit continues today with even young children exchanging Valentine's cards with their fellow classmates. See the chart below for popular Valentine's Day gifts in America. Chocolate. California has most factory stores in U.S. 12.6 billion industry, 2.27 billion in February alone. Non-chocolate candy. California has most factories, 7.4 billion industry. Flowers. California is leading producer, a $375 million industry. And then jewelry. Determine a second main idea for the passage called Valentine's Day. Mark only one oval. The spirit of Valentine's Day is based around showing others how much you love and care for them. Many people argue about who began Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day can be very expensive if a person has several loved ones. And Valentine's Day is celebrated on February 14th in America. Determine one main idea for the passage called Valentine's Day. The creator of Valentine's Day was a clergyman. Valentine's Day has developed over the years and continues today's time. All of Valentine's Day candy comes from California. Or Valentine's Day must be celebrated with the exchanging of cards. Reading exit slip. Determine two main ideas. Read the following and answer the questions. Independence Day is the day where Americans celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the birth of the United States as an independent nation. Since 1776, this day has been celebrated on July 4th, but there's another day that could also be celebrated as Independence Day. July 2nd is the actual date the Continental Congress voted to approve the Declaration. In fact, John Adams, one of the key people responsible for the Declaration of Independence, thought that July 2nd was the date that would become famous in American history. However, once the document was approved, it actually had to be made official. Members of the Congress took the draft form of the approved document and spent 2 days editing it to make sure it was exactly to their liking. Then on July 4th, they sent it off to a printer named John Dunlap. The official, public version of the Declaration of Independence was then printed with the words, "In Congress, July 4th, 1776" on the top. Other dates also could have just as easily become Independence Day. The Declaration of Independence was read publicly for the very first time in Philadelphia on July 8, 1776. On August 2nd, 1776, many members of the Continental Congress gathered to sign the most famous copy of the Declaration of Independence. However, since July 4th, 1776 was printed at the top of the document, it remained the date that would be celebrated for centuries. Based on the passage above, determine one main idea for this text. Mark only one oval. July 4th is the true Independence Day. No one knows when the Declaration of Independence was signed. Other dates are also significant to America's independence, or the Continental Congress approved the Declaration of Independence on July 2nd. Using the same passage, determine another main idea for the text. Mark only one oval. John Adams was important in the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Besides July 4th, there are other important dates to America's independence. Independence Day is the most important day for Americans, or then on July 4th they sent it off to a printer named John Dunlap. Writing. Learning target. I can write an opinion piece on a topic supporting my point of view with reasons and evidence. Weekly learning plan. This week will focus on informative writing. This is your opportunity to practice the power of using your thoughts to effectively communicate information. In order to allow you to work on the different elements of a complete writing piece, each day has its own focus. This week you will, this is Monday, read the prompt and create a plan using a graphic organizer, Foursquare. This is your chance to brainstorm ideas and design the flow of your piece. Using the informative prompt and your Foursquare organizer that you use to analyze your prompt, create a plan for your writing piece. Make sure to tie your details together in this paragraph. The writing situation is COVID-19 has changed the world we live in, from the way we do school to the sports we play to how we see our extended family and friends. Life has temporarily changed. As we are all living life confined in our homes, finding ways to stay busy and not getting bored have become very important. Perhaps more importantly, engaging in things to challenge us mentally is more important than ever. Writing directions. How are you managing to stay busy and keep from getting too bored? What things are you doing that are beneficial to you as a student? Write a letter to a friend, informing him or her ways to keep from getting bored while we wait for this to pass and continue to grow as a student. Be sure to inform your chosen audience of specific things you are doing with your time and the benefits of these things. Social studies. The Erie Canal. Water travel was a common mode of transportation in the 1800s. It proved faster than land transportation, and it was typically cheaper to transport goods on water from one part of the country to another. However, rivers and lakes did not flow in all parts of the country. One solution to this problem was to make man-made water routes called canals. A canal is a ditch that is dug through land by hand and then filled with water. These narrow waterways usually connect other natural bodies of water. The Erie Canal was one of the longest and most successful canals ever built. In the early 1800s, the governor of New York wanted to lower the cost and the time it took to move goods and people all over the country. Building a canal across New York State would connect the Atlantic Ocean in the east to the Great Lakes in the Midwest. The canal was completed in 1825. Horse-pulled boats were able to drag boats up and down the canal. Goods made from factories in the east could be shipped to the west, and farm goods from the west could be shipped back to the east. The cost of transporting these goods decreased dramatically. The success of the Erie Canal even inspired other states to build their own canals. The Pony Express. Once people had settled in the West, it became important to find easy ways to communicate across the country. However, with travel taking a long time, it was difficult to transport mail and news between the East and the West. Mail could take months to reach across the country. People began looking for a better and faster way to send mail. At first, mail traveled in stagecoaches, which were wagons pulled by horses carrying mail. The stagecoaches would carry bags of mail for a few weeks. However, in 1860, a new method of delivering mail was developed. It was called the Pony Express. The Pony Express was like a 2,000-mile relay race. Boys as young as 13 would ride quickly on a horse carrying a bag of mail for about 75 miles to the next mail station. Then he would hand off his bag of mail to the next rider, who would continue picking up and delivering mail. The boys would ride through dangerous wilderness and often risk their lives to deliver the mail. However, through the Pony Express, mail was able to be delivered in days instead of weeks. The telegraph. Communicating in the 1800s was tricky. There were few options to get a message from one place to another. Most mail was delivered by horses, and it would take weeks, even months, to reach the correct place. Sometimes mail got lost and wasn't delivered at all. All that changed with an important invention called the telegraph. The telegraph sent messages along wires using electricity. The messages were not spoken in words, however, but instead through a code called Morse code. The code used a combination of short and long pulses that represented different letters. To send a message, an operator pressed a switch, sending these pulses over a wire to a different location. The pulses were then be translated back into words. This invention allowed for messages to be sent and received across the country within minutes instead of days like written mail. The first telegraph line across the country was completed in October 1861. It was an easy way for people living in the East to connect with people in the West. The Transcontinental Railroad. Communication and transportation in the 1800s continued to improve and develop. By the 1860s, many people believed that the best way to connect life in the East to life in the West was through a railroad that stretched across the entire country. As the boundaries of the United States continued to expand, the need for quick and easy travel was becoming a necessity. In 1862, the president at the time, Abraham Lincoln, gave two railroad companies permission to begin construction on the Transcontinental Railroad, or a railroad across the continent. As both companies got to work on building this nationwide railroad, they quickly ran into problems. First, they couldn't find enough workers for such a huge construction project. It was also challenging to build tracks around different mountain ranges. Workers had to blast tunnels through the mountain's solid rock. Many workers lost their lives in dynamite accidents. While many Americans were excited about the new railway, there was a group of people who were not. As tracks moved west, the railroad workers ran into conflict with the Native Americans. Many of their tracks ran through native hunting grounds. The workers pressed onward anyways and were determined to finish. On May 10, 1869, the tracks that the two railroad companies had been working on came together in the Utah Territory. There were celebrations from the west to the east. Before the Transcontinental Railroad, it would take 6 months to travel coast to coast, and now it could be done in under 10 days. The railroad promised great change for the United States. National Road was completed in 1837. The National Road was built to make travel on land easier. Workers cleared over 600 miles of land from Maryland to Illinois, making it easier to travel with horses and wagons. Steamboat, 1807. The steam engine boat used steam to move a boat quickly through water. It even allowed travelers to travel against the current and cut down on travel time. Steam locomotive in 1830. The steam locomotive was a train cart powered by steam. It could pull heavier loads at a much faster pace than carts being pulled by horses. Pony Express, 1860. The Pony Express was a 2,000-mile horse relay race that delivered mail from east to west at a much quicker rate. Horse riders would travel around 75 miles nonstop and then pass off the mail to the next rider. The telegraph in 1861. The telegraph replaced the need for messages to be only delivered by written mail. Using the telegraph, messages could be sent over electric wires using a special code called Morse code. Erie Canal, completed in 1825. The Erie Canal was a hand-dug water route in New York that connected the Atlantic Ocean to the Great Lakes. It made transporting goods quicker and cheaper. Transcontinental Railroad completed in 1869. The Transcontinental Railroad was a railway that ran across the entire United States. The trip that once took 6 months to complete by horse and wagon could now be completed in less than 10 days. Pony Express, communication problem before, the solution provided after, and other facts. The Telegraph, communication problem before, solution provided after, other facts. The Erie Canal, travel problem before, solution provided after, other facts. Transcontinental Railroad, travel problem before, solution provided after, and other facts. Learning target. I can explain how westward expansion increased production in transportation, industry, and communication. Question 1. This mode of transportation made delivering mail from the east to the west much faster. A. The Erie Canal, B. The Pony Express, C. The telegraph, or D. The steam locomotive. Question 2. This mode of transportation was a hand-dug water route from New York that connected the Atlantic Ocean to the Great Lakes. A. The Erie Canal, B. The Pony Express, C. The telegraph, or D. The steam locomotive. Question 3. This mode of transportation made travel much faster. A trip that used to take 6 months to complete could now be completed in 10 days. That should say 10 days. A. The Erie Canal, B. The Pony Express, C. The Transcontinental Railroad, or D. The steam locomotive. Number 4. This invention allowed messages to be sent over electric wires using a special code called Morse code. A. Erie Canal, B. The Pony Express, C. The Transcontinental Railroad, or D. The telegraph. Spanish. Instructions on page 1, practice saying the Spanish places vocabulary. 2. On page 2, draw a picture for each word. On 3, match the place words with the sentences. And number 4, if you have internet, check out your Spanish teacher's Facebook website for songs and resources. You have a Quizlet, draw a picture for each place. Reading for context clues, choose the correct place described in each sentence and write the letter of the answer next to the description. And these are your choices. PE and health, 100 exercises. Jumping jacks times 10, lunges times 10, squats, hop on one foot, arm circles, side twists, sit-ups, march, run in place, and toe touches. That concludes today's NTI days.